Volume 3 leans heavily into emotional territory, especially with Rocket's backstory, showcasing brutal experimentation scenes that feel more exploitative than impactful. While the film wants to tug at your heartstrings, it often crosses into emotional manipulation, especially through scenes of animal cruelty and excessive crying close-ups. Instead of letting emotions naturally emerge from character arcs, the film forces sentimentality with slow-motion flashbacks, dramatic orchestral swells, and prolonged, almost dying scenes. While some of these work, like Rocket's final confrontation with his trauma, others feel like they're trying too hard to provoke a tear rather than earn it. Emotional, yes, but often heavy-handed and manipulative rather than sincere. Chukwudi Iwuji gives a theatrical performance as the High Evolutionary, a scientist obsessed with creating a perfect society. While the actor commits, the character comes off as a generic, one-note madman, screaming about godhood and perfection with little nuance or philosophy. Unlike Ego or even Thanos, there's no ideological complexity, just cruelty and monologuing. He's designed to be hated, and he is, but not in a compelling way. There's no subtlety, no depth, just increasingly cartoonish rage. His motivations never evolve, making him predictable and forgettable. Loud and cruel, but flat. A disposable villain in a trilogy that deserved better. Volume 3's humor struggles under the weight of its darker tone. Characters crack jokes during tense or sad moments, undercutting emotional beats. While the first film blended sarcasm and heart perfectly, and even Volume 2 found its rhythm occasionally, this entry often misses the timing. Drax's and Mantis's banter feels repetitive, and Peter Quill's humor doesn't hit the same now that his character has matured. Even Rocket's biting wit is toned down in favor of melancholic monologues. The comedic pacing feels off, like a writer trying to force levity into a script that's better suited to quiet, somber moments. Some laughs land, but most feel awkward or mistimed, diluting rather than enhancing the story. Despite the script's weaknesses, the cast delivers strong performances. Bradley Cooper, Rocket, is the emotional centerpiece, with his voice performance giving real depth and pain. Chris Pratt plays a more grounded, vulnerable Star-Lord, balancing grief and leadership, though he's underserved by the plot. Pom Klementieff, Mantis, continues to show surprising emotional range beneath the goofy exterior. Karen Gillan, Nebula, and Dave Bautista, Drax, offer solid turns, though their arcs feel somewhat stalled. Zoe Saldana plays an alternate timeline Gamora with distance and bite, though the emotional closure between her and Quill is minimal at best. The Guardians are still carried by their cast's chemistry and commitment, even when the writing fails them. Fans of the franchise were generally appreciative of the emotional farewell to these characters, calling it a heartbreaking but satisfying finale. However, many also noted the film's tonal imbalance, overuse of flashbacks, and overly long runtime. Critics were split. Some praised Gunn's boldness in taking the story so dark and emotional, while others found it incoherent, overindulgent, and uneven in tone. Casual audiences were less forgiving, with some calling it the weakest of the trilogy due to its clashing moods and weak villain. Verdict: a divisive entry, emotional for longtime fans, but tonally messy and narratively unfocused for others. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 is an ambitious but flawed farewell. It offers strong performances and moments of genuine emotion, but too often leans on manipulative tactics, a lackluster villain, and forced humor that undercut what could have been a more elegant send-off. Film rating 6 out of 10.